The two-party system is a game that is killing us. And our leaders have said it from the beginning. The results have shown it from the beginning. The two-party system is toxic. It is a battle to the bottom, and it is zero sum. And it is not what our system was set up to be. It is not an animal of our Constitution or any of the formative documents. It's not even a creature of law. It's culture. And they should not be in control. And the Democrats are upset about a potential third-party bid right now. The blame is on them. If you do not give people the best choice, how can you criticize their desire for more choice? Oh, but it's existential. It can't be Trump. That's on you. And the process has put us in this position. And I'm against it. I want people to be free agents, critical thinkers, and be independent. And that's the plurality of this country. It's the fastest growing partisan denomination, which is nonpartisan. So that's what's changed, is the more factor, okay? You have fringe ideas that get magnified, so much so that in a reductive process, a battle of attrition, a battle to the bottom, zero sum, I must lose for you to win, both parties are dominated by their fringe elements. And people like you guys sit around and say, like, I don't get it. I run a business. I do this. Where's the accommodation? Why would I work with you when it is easier for me to just demonize you? Why would I do the work? Why would I talk about how the chip factory in Arizona is going to bring in Taiwanese labor because we don't have enough skilled laborers here in this country? Why would I take that on when I can say, you know, you want my kid to be gender fluid? Well, I mean, one is so much easier. It plays to people's fears and prejudice and concerns. Culture wars are almost entirely bullshit because they fly in the face of the bedrock principle of this country is you do you and I'll do me, okay? You ever hear the expression, your ability to throw a punch ends where my nose begins? You know what I mean? And we've gotten way away from that. And for good reason and bad reason. You know, it's hard to argue, do you want a guy who looks like him running against your 15-year-old daughter in a race or in a wrestling match? No. But is that really happening enough where we have to make it higher on the agenda than what the right move is and for how long and in what way in Ukraine? The only reason you would never do that with one of your companies. You would never do that with one of your companies because your bottom line would suffer. You'd never grow. You would fail at the first of your 5-move analysis. You would be failing to know yourself and understand yourself. So that's the problem. My problem is I can't effectively combat the problem. It's suffused in our culture. We cover the game. These UFO hearings, okay? People are making fun of us at News Nation. They completely misunderstand the import. I don't know if they're little green men. I choose to believe there is a higher intelligence that is actually paying attention to what's happening here right now. And that he sent his son here to literally die for the sins of people like me because I'm so flawed and so weak. And that is the basis of my faith. That's why you never hear me proselytize, put it on anybody. I don't care what you believe, as long as it's not actively hurting somebody else. I need it because I'm so flawed and I'm so desperate for any way I can use to get better. But I choose to believe that. But I'm going to be closed to the idea that there's life beyond this planet. This is the only one that figured out when Neil deGrasse Tyson tells me every 5 minutes that the place is bigger every time we measure it. No, I'm open. But that's not what the hearings are about. UFO for me stands for unable to find out. Why the F does the government get to make unilateral decisions about what we get to know and not, so that now you're going to have a congressional hearing and NASA gets to say, I'm not coming? And the Pentagon gets to say to its people, you better stay here? Who? What? Where is that? How is that okay? They should have to come and account to the American people, or at least the Congress, and say why you don't get to know what they know. And if it's because it will lead to a huge competitive disadvantage with China, okay, put some meat on the bones for me. The Kennedy assassination files. Why? Why can't you release them? I'll tell you why. Because each administration, some guy comes to them and says, you're new. So you're probably a little intimidated by me right now. Let me seize upon that to tell you this. You do not want to release these files. You will have a problem that you will own, sources and methods, things that people will know.
You think that happens?
I think it happens every administration. How else would you explain, of all guys, Captain Chaos, former President Trump,
80%
doesn't release those
the other
files?
20, yeah.
When he is, if the former president has one kind of policy agenda, it's, I want people to feel comfortable thinking that the institutions of government are not serving their interests.
So somebody had the conversation with him and he said, I shouldn't release this information to the public.
I think somebody had a conversation with somebody who had a conversation with him. I'm probably.
Who are they protecting?
Themselves. And again, look, I don't believe.
Who is themselves? Who is
I don't
them?
believe in the deep state. I don't believe in any of that. Okay, it's much more nuanced than that.
But you sound like that. By the way, your last 5 minutes, you sound like an anti-establishment guy, though. What you just said, that 5-minute clip.
I just think that label is cheap. Look, nobody gets the benefit of context, right? You can cut everything up any way you want. You can make me seem anything you want.
I would trust you more, by the way. I'm not. Don't take that as a shot. What I'm saying to you is, be an anti-establishment.
I'm not anti-establishment. Journalists question power. I never defended the FBI one day in my life before the Trump administration, because there became this threat to the institution overall. I hate the I can neither confirm nor deny. I hate that answer. Either you're trying to make a case against PBD or you're not. Just give the answer. I've been chasing after the FBI for 20 years. That doesn't mean I don't think they should exist. You know what I mean? I don't want the IRS looking into me any more than they need to either. It's not that I don't think they should exist. So I felt forced into that position because of this power being brought to undo a system with no better solution after that. So I'm not anti-establishment.
You sound like it.
Look, to your ears, but to me, it's I test power. I test power. The dossier, okay? The dossier has become a buzzword. What is a dossier? It's a French word for file. This was raw intelligence from a single guy who was working a situation for hire for a pocket that was connected to Clinton. They should have told us that right away. They did say it was raw. The entire investigation was not all based on the dossier. But, and I say this all the time, and I know why people get upset. You can't have politicians investigating their opposition. You can't do it. And you can say Mueller, but we had Mueller do it. It doesn't work. And it is a complete distraction from our interests. The Hunter Biden stuff, the Trump stuff. Look, you break a law and you can prove it. Make the case. Make the case. But I'm telling you, these investigations that reek of politics are destroying us. They're destroying us. Do I like the payments to the different members of the Bidens? Nope. Do I like that they haven't been out in front of it and explaining it? Nope. I understand the adage that if you're explaining, you're losing in politics, but let me tell you something. If you don't tell me your story, somebody else is, and you're not going to like the ending. So I don't like those things. Do I want them to be the sum total of our existence? No, I don't feel like that about the classified documents. I didn't feel like that about the impeachment things. I was on the record saying, one, don't talk about you may impeach. Impeach or don't impeach, but don't play with it. And once they went down the road of impeachment, I said, why are you doing this? You'll never remove them. Well,
you told them that.
I said it on TV all the time. Mm-hmm. The historicity of it. No one is above the law. First of all, that's not true. Okay, yes, no one is above the law. No one is above the law. Okay, conceptually. But there is prosecutorial discretion. Okay? And that's why you don't find a lot of tax cases like the one they're even making against Hunter Biden. Oh, but it was 17 million. How many people do you know who have gotten sideways with the IRS in the millions of dollars and went to prison? It's very, very rare. They fine the hell out of you. If you fight it, you wind up in a civil judgment situation, which you're probably going to lose, okay? And then there are more fines. But they're going to jail. The criminal, I mean, just look at it. The numbers are very small. So, but
they don't want you to go to jail. They want the payment plan.
That's right. But but I'm just saying, people know so much more about this than things that actually matter. And I cover those things more than what actually matters. Why? Ratings. Resonance. People don't care about these other things because culturally we're into this fight of what makes one side go down and what makes one side go up, which is at the cost of the other side all the time. So Biden is the best choice. Why? Well, better than Trump. You don't make that analysis anywhere else in your life. I'm going to buy a Yugo or I'm going to buy a Fiat. Well, I guess I'm going with the Fiat. Why? Well, it's not a Yugo. No, I want to drive what he's driving. Why? Because that's the best, not the least worst. That's what we've allowed in our politics to get there. And it kills me because I'm not able to correct it. That's why I do the free agent stuff. You know, that's why I'm selling merch with free agent on it. I haven't taken a dime of it. I want the kitty to get big, and then I want to crowdsource contributions with it. I'm not making money off it. I'm not making money off any of this shit. I'm making half what I used to make. You know, those days are over. That was taken from me. So I have to go in a different direction, and I'm figuring that out as I go. But I do know the challenge. The challenge is the system. The two-party system is killing us. Primaries should be open. Ranked choice voting should be considered and figured out. Voting should be streamlined and understood and transparent. We've got to be able to do better than this. All my money, I don't even know where it is. I don't even know what it is. All my information's online. I paid my my mortgage, my maintenance payment, and a couple of utility bills on my phone on the way over here. But we can't figure out a way to automate voting so that we know who people are and do it.
You know that wouldn't favor Democrats if they did that.
Look, I understand the argument that there is an imbalance of enfranchisement as you go down the socioeconomic scale. So, and again, sometimes it's not the better political argument. The better political argument is show your ID when you vote. It's a no-brainer political argument until you get into the weeds of, well, what kinds of people tend to not have driver's licenses? What kinds of people tend to be less likely to want to have a government ID? And you get into socioeconomic levels
Chris,
that do play to Democrats.
I get that, but that goes back to, you know, when you said, you know, the trans thing. Do I want a guy this Pat size to compete against my, 11-year-old daughter and says it's trans? No. But is that really the top 10 issues in America? No, that's a small little thing, right? What you just said right now is a very, very small percentage of Americans that don't have an ID. But the other side will then use it and will say, well, that's why Republicans are racist. No, it's just, let's get an ID. If we have the technology right now with crypto, where you and I, if I'm going to November 2001, what came out in November of 2001? Something called TSA, okay? And why was TSA, prior to that, you'd go to the airport, you know what would happen. You just go, hey, what's up? Come to the gate. See me at the gate. Okay, I'll come to the gate. I don't need to go through security. 9/11 happens, TSA. Give me your ID. Now what do when you give the ID? They put it in there. They don't even need to see your, what do you call it? The
boarding pass.
Yeah, it's okay. Put your ID. Yeah. Okay, you're good. All right, so if we have that technology there, do you realize how ludicrous and how dumb it sounds to say it's racist to ask for my ID? Going back to what you said, why I said you sound anti-establishment. So your dad, would you say your dad was an anti-establishment candidate, or what would you say your pops was?
I don't like the term anti-establishment, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that there is currency, but I think that it is reductive. I think that it takes us in the wrong direction of wanting to be anti-something.
Before you do that, can you define what establishment means to you?
To me, anti-establishment is code for tear it down, destroy the government, get rid of everything. Everybody's dirty, everything's corrupt, everyone cheats, there is no justice. And I don't believe that. I believe that you have problems in all of these things, but I don't need to say this to you or really any of you guys. But I mean, it's just so intimate for his family's, last 2 generations of experience. Go live somewhere else and see if you think that our justice system sucks, that, our imbalances here are unforgivable, if our government is so dirty. Go live somewhere else and see how well. Oh, well, you can go to Sweden. Yeah, okay, go to Sweden. So I'm worried about being just negative to feed some sense of demagoguery. Do I think that all of these different things have buckets of concern that should be addressed? Absolutely. Absolutely. I just don't think we get there by just seeing who can shit on it more.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.